What's up, y'all? It's me, it's your boy Asmongold, and today I'm going to be filling a viewer request. I'm going to show you guys how to get the level 100 epic follower Meatball. Now, in order to do this, you have to get to rank 5 in the Brawlers Guild, and the character I'm going to be using is my Hunter. Now, my Hunter is only 627 item level. He's still using the Garrosh bow from Siege of Orgrimmar, and so he's not like very amazing at all. And so don't really worry too much about this. I'd say at 640 item level, almost nobody's going to have too much trouble with it. Now, I'm not really going to go through every single fight the entire way through because a lot of the abilities are very easy to deal with, especially like this guy. I mean, like, look at this guy. What does he do? He's a boar or I guess he's a bull, right? Because he's going to gore you. And so this is what you're going to do. He's going to put a red circle on the ground. Watch, just real quick. See, there's a red circle. Get out of it, okay? You get out of the red circle and you kill the boar, game over. It's too easy. And so we're not going to really get into a whole bunch of specifics with these guys. I'm just going to show you guys what you need to know. Now, the next guy here is Sanoriak. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce his name. He puts a little fire box under you, as you can see, and 3 of the different, I guess, like sides are fire, and 1 you just walk out from under it, and it's no real problem. Also, Pyroblast, you need to be interrupting that, and if you don't, you take 100,000 damage, which, because this is a rank 1 fight, it still doesn't even matter, right? He also casts fireballs that you don't really want to interrupt. It's just mostly moving out of the firewall, and if you don't move out, I think you can run through it, you won't take that much damage. So it's not really that deadly. This is a very easy fight to do. Now the third fight is Smash Hoofstomp. And what you have to do here is he's got 2 goblins on his shoulders. Each goblin you kill makes him take more damage. So what you want to do is you want to kill both the goblins and then pop your cooldowns and kill the Tauren guy. He also does a shield from the front, and so you want to make sure you're nearby to him, and he doesn't really do that much damage. He also does something called Hoof Stomp. You could kind of guess that. And what it does is he stomps his hoof down, and then he knocks you back. Besides that, he's going to do this defend thing, as you guys have probably seen that from the Ordos guys in Timeless Isle, and a lot of other things in the game. And so as soon as both the goblins are dead, he takes a ton extra damage, and he'll die very, very easily. And so anyway, the next one is Akama. That's right. Akama does 3 main abilities. He does the Shadow Strikes ability that can be purged off. Basically just makes him do more damage whenever he does a melee attack. He summons these wolves that are pretty much inconsequential and they don't even do any damage. And he also does Chain Lightning. You want to interrupt Chain Lightning. You can cleave down the wolves. You can CC them like I did. But this fight is going to be probably one of the easiest ones in the entire... It's even easy for rank 1. And then he just does the Shadow Sickle, and then that's it. Like, it's so easy. This next guy, Dippy, is like... pretty much he casts Peck, okay? Or Beak. It's Beak or Peck or something like that. He casts some sort of a spell. And if he finishes the cast and he hits you with it, you're dead, right? And so what you have to do is you have to consistently hit him over and over and over. And this is actually one of the easier ones. And make sure that you're not hitting him up against a wall, because if you do hit him up against a wall, sometimes he'll cast it anyway. And so just make sure that you're consistently hitting him, and it should be no problem. The first boss for rank 2 is going to be Kirrawk. Now he's also pretty much easy to do. He puts a lightning shield on himself, and pretty much whenever you hit him, it's going to do damage to you. And also tornadoes come out and they'll knock you up in the air. He also casts some sort of a lightning channeled ability, which needs to be interrupted. A lot of these kind of bosses have pretty much the same thing, where they cast a couple of different things. He also casts lightning bolt too, by the way. Does 6,000 damage, something like that. It doesn't even matter, right? And there's tornado. Avoid the tornado. It can also knock him up in the air, but it's not really that big of a deal. You just have to make sure that you interrupt. I think it's called like lightning tether or something. And so just make sure that you interrupt that, and you should have no real problem whatsoever. King Kulaka? Like, this guy is real simple, guys. He's a big dinosaur, and you just kill him, okay? And what makes him hard is he does a lot of damage, right? So look at how hard he's hitting my pet. And I think that pets and Brawlers Guild take extra damage, but this is a very easy fight to do. You just kill the dinosaur, okay? There's like literally no mechanics involved. This one is actually, there are a couple of things that you have to worry about here with Riddoh and Fran. Now, Riddoh I think it does a net. Yeah, he nets you, and so he roots you on the ground. And Fran also is going to be throwing dynamite at people, and if one of the dynamite things hits you, it does a pretty good amount of damage. And so the way you can avoid that is just always be moving whenever you cast throw dynamite. As you can see, it hit me there. And also he puts like a little spread of mines around you. It's kind of like the fire guy, except for you just find an opening within the circle of the mines, and you just move through the opening, and it shouldn't be too much of a problem. If you hit a mine, it's not the end of the world, and also whenever you kill one of them, the other one does a little bit extra stuff, but it's not too big of a deal. Now the next one is going to be Blat. Now Blat is also kind of annoying to do, especially as a pet class, and the way that this works is the more that you fight him, and the more damage, the more time that he's alive, he splits into two, or he splits another, I guess, like an illusion of himself. And throughout the fight, these will just kind of overwhelm you. And they also do full damage the same as he does. And so you want to be kiting them around because the illusions move slower than he does. And so you just want to be moving around the fight. As you can see, my pet was taking way too much damage. And so I moved him over there. And the illusions are not really able to catch up. If you're a pet class like me, you want to make sure that you have aggro on the illusions so that doesn't happen. Now this is kind of easy to do, and of course don't let the illusions overwhelm your pet or anything like that, because I'll show you guys right at the end, like I almost wiped on this one because there are so many of them, and so I had to be kiting this guy around. And see, there's a ton of these guys around, and just make sure that you're able to kill him, and the other ones, it doesn't matter if you kill those. Just focus the main guy and you should have no trouble whatsoever, and you can tell who's the main guy by the one that's moving faster. Next one is Vian the Voltile. Now he's also real simple to do. He does a Fire Blast, and he also does a Flame Line. I'm trying to think of like Flame Bender Kirrawk. I don't know if people have done that fight yet. And that's a Blackheart Foundry, and so there's the Flame Line. It's real simple. It's also Volatile Flames. He puts a fire thing on the ground. It might be bugged or something, but it's supposed to increase his cast speed, and so I wouldn't really worry about that too much. Just make sure that you interrupt Lava Bursts whenever you're able to, and just kill him, and make sure that you don't stand in the fire lines. This one is actually the first guy that killed me, and what he's going to do is that he's going to do about like 160 degree, that's actually probably about 150 degree, let's be specific here, degree cone attack. And if that cone attack hits you, you're dead. You're dead. It does 1,000,000 damage, okay? And so just make sure that you're at max range if you have a pet class, and make sure your pet doesn't die or your pet doesn't lose aggro, and you should have no real trouble whatsoever. If you're alone, just be moving whenever you cast it, and he casts it about every 10 seconds. And so it's not like you have to be consistently moving, but as a hunter, it's not like that matters, because, hunters are balanced. Anyway, so after you kill him, this one, as I said before, is the first one that killed me, and so be careful, and always be anticipating moving, especially if you have bad connection, like over 100 MS. Now this one is a little bit interesting. It's a Malkazine or something like that. I don't know. It reminds me of the dagger from Prince. And so the lower health that this, this cat gets, the more damage it does, right? And so as a range class, this is extremely easy to kill. And as a melee class, it can be a little bit more complicated. As you can see, he's getting low health, and my pet is taking a significant amount of damage. And so what I'm going to be doing here is I'm just going to kite him around, and you can slow him and just kite him around the room. And if he hits you at low health, it's not like it's going to one-shot you or something like that, but it will do a good bit of damage, and so make sure that you don't really let that happen. Actually, that's really pretty much it. It just does more damage over time, and so what I would do is I would save my defensive cooldowns. Whenever I did this on my warrior, I saved like die by the sword and everything till about like 20%, and then burned them down with all my cooldowns up to kind of, I guess, like bypass that last low health phase where he's going to be doing the absolute most damage possible. So that's very simple to do. And now we're on to the rank 4 fights, and Tyson standards here is pretty complicated. I'm actually going to take a few seconds to explain this here. Now the Electro Chickens put a Void Zo under you, a little blue thing under you. Guess what you don't do? Stand in the blue thing. The Explosive Chickens, guess what they do? Or Exploding Chickens, yeah, guess what they do? They blow up. Also the Well-Fed Chickens, I guess like he's feeding them GMOs or something like that, because the longer they're alive, the more damage they do. And so you can kite the Well-Fed Chickens around and then cleave them down, or you can focus them and then kill them. This is fairly easy to do, as he doesn't even have 1,000,000 health. And especially as a pack class, and as a non-pack class, you might take a little bit of damage from the Exploding Chickens. And so whenever that happens, just make sure that you're moving around the room, and so that's not really going to be doing too much damage to you. As you can see, there's one that just blew up. And they do a good amount of damage, and so do the Well-Fed Chickens. This is more of a mechanics fight than anything else. And so just make sure you have the chickens on lock, and you're going to pretty much be able to do this with no problem. Nibbleh, like this guy's the cock of its entire video, man. I hate this guy. What you have to do is you have to kite him around, and you have to make sure that he doesn't stop moving, because if he does stop moving, he's going to stand inside his like spit thing, and what that's going to do is that's going to empower him and make him do more damage. Now, until he gets about 2 to 3 stacks, it's not really too big of a deal. So it's not like 1 stack and it's game over, right? But if he's getting more than 3 stacks, you're probably going to die. And also, what he really likes to do, just to make things even worse for you, is he likes to put pools in the middle of the room. And so you kind of have to play like, it's like that game in like Atari or something like Caterpillar, right? Except for this guy is a snake. Actually, isn't there a game called Snake? Anyway, point is, you definitely want to make sure that you don't have him standing on top of the poison. And the enrage here is that if you run out of room, obviously he'll have to be standing in the poison, and that's actually what happened to me. And so you want to be very careful with that, which is why I chose to show this entire clip, to show you guys how I handled it. And I handled it pretty well until the end when I kind of got cocky. And so anyway, just make sure that you're kind of rotating him around the room. And also make sure that you don't do anything to make him stand still or anything like that, like slows or whatever else, because he'll like get a lot bigger. Like, look at that, I got 2 stacks now. And he's doing a little bit more damage, as I said before. It's not like it's going to kill you, but you don't want to have him getting too many stacks or then you'll just die. And the next one here is, what is that? I actually have no idea. I'm just waiting for it to pop up. And yeah, oh geez, this one is the worst. Dominica the Illusionist. Now, if you guys don't know, she summons illusions of herself, and the way that those work is they have 1 health, right? And so any AoE ability kills all of them. And she only casts the illusions and arcane barrage. And so what I do is, since I was spec'd into barrage, I just cast barrage every 20 seconds, and that was able to clear the illusions pretty easily. It seemed like the illusions spawned faster towards the end of the fight than at the beginning, but this is very easy to do. Just AoE down the illusions before they overwhelm you. If you're pet class, make sure you're standing on top of your pet, so all the illusions run to you, so your AoE abilities will hit all of them. But this is definitely actually this is like the second to last fight, and it's probably easier than some of the rank 2 ones. I guess like maybe a little bit. And so here, like, I mean, they're starting to overwhelm me. Like, there's a lot of them, and so I was kind of waiting for barrage, but I knew it would be okay. But you got to be real careful here because they can overwhelm you real fast, and just, you know, pay attention and make sure you have it under control because you don't really want to be wasting your time. And if you take too long, by the way, I know a lot of people probably know this, but if you take too long, the floor sets on fire, and then like a line of fire goes across the I don't know, like the little arena that you're fighting in, and you die. So here's what we're all here for. Here's Meatball. Meatball is actually really simple and really easy to kill, and as long as you have pretty decent DPS. Now the way you do this is that he has these little purple bubbles that spawn around the room, and you only have a minute to kill him. Each one of these purple doubles makes you do increasingly more damage. Once you reach 50 stacks of the purple bubbles, they no longer stack. And also another thing that you need to know is that the purple bubbles heal you because Meatball hits for a lot of damage, and so you want to be running around getting the purple bubbles, and so you want to be spec'd for as much mobility as possible, or just play a hunter because that's just pretty much the next best thing. Once you get to about 40 or 50, 45 stacks, or you're getting close to the 1 minute timer, you want to pop all of your cooldowns and see if you can finish them off at that point, which is kind of what I did. I wiped on this twice because I didn't have quite the DPS. But as soon as I spec'd to survival, which I, by the way, have no idea how to play, I was able to do this on my first try. And then he doesn't actually have to get to 0 health, and he'll just die. And whenever he gets kind of low health, or you're getting close to that minute timer, you can jump away because he doesn't one-shot you. He kills you in about 1 or 2 hits, so you can maybe get like a little bit more damage onto him if you're real close. And so anyway, that's all we have to do to get all the rank 5, all the 1 to rank 4, yeah, I guess all the way up to rank 5 bosses. And so after you get all the way up there and you kill Meatball, you're going to go ahead and he's going to be spawned right next to you. And I actually had no idea what was going on right now, and I forgot where it was. And as you can see, there he is right on the right, okay? And so you just go over there and you talk to him, and he's going to go ahead and he's going to become your level 100 follower. Now, as I said before, what's really good about this is that he's already epic, right? And so you don't have to level him up. You just have to get him some gear. And so there he is. Like, watch. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to recruit him. And he actually came out pretty good. All the stats, like his second ability and his 3 traits are random. And so you can see there I got extra training on him, so that was pretty cool. Anyway, guys, I think that a lot of these strategies are pretty universal for each class, and so you shouldn't really need to have too much trouble no matter what you're doing. Just make sure that you're kind of aware of what the mechanics do, and as long as you can avoid the mechanics, this should be very easy to do, especially at about 640 or item level or higher. So that's pretty much all I've got. Thanks for watching, and like, comment, subscribe.